G'day, I'm Adam Collins. Welcome to Stories. Today I'm thrilled to be joined by Kerry Nietz. Kerry is the author of the Dark Trench Saga and The Mask, but he's recently most famous for his novel Amish Vampires in Space and its brand new sequel, Amish Zombies from Space. Well, hi Kerry, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Adam. Great to be here.
So, can you give us a quick rundown for those who haven't heard of them before? What are your Amish books about?
Well, the titles sort of hint at what they're about. For instance, the first one's about Amish, vampires, and space.
Yeah, okay, I guess I walked into that one. But Amish Vampires in Space is a serious science fiction novel, but the title was born out of a bit of a joke. Now, the book has brought out some really passionate responses from people. Some, like me, really loved it, while some others have criticised it. Did you anticipate the book stirring up so much controversy?
Yeah, I probably underestimated controversy in some ways. To me, the premise was always an interesting mental challenge. Could I take these three dissimilar ideas, put them in the same story, and make it work? Unfortunately, some people saw the cover art and the title and made assumptions about the content. Whatever, my goal was to tell a fun story, and I think I accomplished that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, the title has led to a lot of misunderstandings, but it's also brought in a lot of useful attention, including your famous mention on Jimmy Fallon's Do Not Read list. Ultimately, do you think that putting a campy title on a serious story has been more of a help or a hindrance?
Aha! The question of the year. To be honest, I don't know. I know from past experience that selling books is hard. Amish Vampires is my sixth book after all. Books sell primarily by word of mouth, so anything that gets people talking about your book is probably a good thing. Amish Vampires was written about in Publishers Weekly, Library Journal. Dave Barry mentioned it, and then of course the Tonight Show. So it seems like the cover art and the title accomplished what they were supposed to. Seems like mission accomplished.
When people have criticised the book, you've always responded very graciously, even when the people hadn't read it. Was this something that came naturally to you, or was it something you had to consciously work on?
Thanks, Adam. I appreciate you saying that. It's a lot easier to let criticism bounce off of you if you have a clear conscience. I know what I wrote and I know why I wrote it. I worked real hard on it and I was happy with the result. Plus, I had more people read it ahead of time than anything I've ever written. So I tried my best, and even if someone doesn't like the result, I hope they at least can respect the effort. To be honest, the times I've been most bothered by the criticism was when it was leveled at the cover art. Kirk DePonce is a great artist, and he made a great cover, and it's unfortunate sometimes people couldn't separate the premise from the cover art.
Yeah, I think you've set a great example that we can all aspire to. And you're right, he's an awesome artist. I've seen some of his other covers. So, have you booked a follow-up appearance with Jimmy Fallon for the new book?
Not yet, no. I wouldn't be surprised if you heard about it, though. I'm actually not real sure how I heard about the last book.
One of the cool things in the first book was how you gave the vampires more of a scientific basis than is usual in vampire fiction. Now in the new book, you're turning your hand to zombies. What can you tell us about the way you've handled zombieism in the story universe?
Hard to say without ruining something. I'll just say that there is no toxic waste involved, and the zombies aren't part of a rock video. Does that help?
Yep, okay, well that rules a couple of things out. Now in Amish Vampires in Space, you dealt with some important themes, such as pacifism and scientific ethics. What kind of themes are you exploring in Amish Zombies from Space?
I have to give you credit here, Adam, because I think you did a great job of sort of quantifying the themes of the first book. The themes this time are a little more subtle, but they're primarily isolation and media ethics.
Oh, thanks. At first it might seem a bit strange to have Amish travelling through space to another planet. But given their way of life, I think they're actually particularly suited to thrive when colonising an alien world and building a self-sustaining community. If the ability ever presented itself, do you think that the Amish people would take up that opportunity to explore space?
I actually do think the Amish might colonize in space. If you look at their history, you kind of see this pattern of migration, typically due to religious persecution. So I think if the opportunity to colonize space presented itself, they just might take it.
So what's your best tip for surviving a zombie apocalypse?
um, Find shelter and stick together. And a rifle might be useful too.
Sounds good. So is Amish Zombies from Space the end of the story, or can we expect a third book in the series?
Maybe. I need to come up with a monster yet that excites me. Something I can put sort of a scientific spin on. Any ideas?
Okay, let me think. Got leprechauns, Loch Ness Monster. What about an Aussie bunyip? I'll have to give it some thought. In the meantime, though, I wanted to ask you about something, because you're a veteran of the software industry who's now an author, and I'm in the process at the moment of very gradually making a similar transition. Now, one of the things that I'm learning is that there's not a whole lot of difference between how you craft a piece of software and how you craft a book. Have you found any skills from your old career that have served you well as a writer?
Oh yeah, lots of similarities. In either case, you're manipulating ideas. Process is an iterative one where you make a first draft and then revise it and revise it and revise it. I would guess if you could take a picture of the inside of my brain, that the same areas would be stimulated when I'm writing and revising as when I used to code and revise. Yeah, I think they're very similar.
Okay, one last question. As a reader, what other book or books other than your own would you recommend to people?
I have lots of favorites in many different genres, but I think if we're talking the zombie and vampire genre, that Matheson's I Am Legend is a great place to start. It's one of those few books that I found myself trying to read slower and slower because I didn't want it to finish too soon.
Yeah, you know you're onto a winner when you don't want the book to end. So where can people find you and your books online?
Yeah, all my books are available online on Amazon and Barnes& and Noble and Kobo.
Well, thanks so much for being on the show, Kerry. It's been a real pleasure. I wish you all the best with Amish Zombies from Space, and I can't wait to read it.
Thanks again, Adam. It's been fun hanging out with you. Take care.
Well, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the interview. Don't forget to check out Kerry's books, and if you'd like to connect with me, you can find me at my new website at adamdavidcollins.com. And don't forget to sign up for my email list so you can get a copy of my free short story, A Horror Like No Other. Catch you next time!